On January 29th, the developers of New World tweeted that they were almost done crafting the second developer diary. And then they went silent for almost 2 weeks. Finally, on February 10th, they published a blog without a video titled Making Your Mark on Aeternum, Settlements and Governance, as well as the following explanation on Twitter. Episode 2 of our developer diary is still coming along. We didn't want to hold up any of the article as we wait to finish the video. So they had delays with the video and still wanted to give us an update, so they just posted the blog. Sure, I get it. Delays happen and they're making the best of it. However, these are supposed to be coming out monthly, and the last developer diary was on December 22nd. So I'm kind of having a hard time understanding what took so long. Now, if you've been following the development of New World, you know about the bombshell that they dropped a few weeks ago regarding the changes to PvP. It left the community upset, to say the least. I saw comment after comment on videos and forums about people canceling their pre-orders. It also seemed like the PvP update created more questions than answers. The removal of open world PvP is such a departure from the original basis of the game that it left most of us asking, what is this game now? And I expected the team behind New World to begin damage control pretty quickly. I expected we'd start to see gameplay footage and explanation of this new PvE New World that they described. But we haven't seen any of that. And all of that combined with the fact that beta is less than 2 months out, I think has the community feeling pretty skeptical about this game delivering on all that it has promised. With all that said, let's jump into a breakdown of the New World settlements and governance and see just what new information they have given us. New World is set in an area called Aeternum, and Aeternum is split into territories. Within those territories, you have settlements and forts. Settlements are described as places where players live, congregate, craft, trade, work on projects, and support their faction through faction missions. They also mention that settlements serve as respawn points. Forts, on the other hand, are the main point of defense for a city. They're where wars and invasions take place, and also where you would go to claim a territory. So this all sounds pretty straightforward so far. Nothing for me is particularly interesting about this part. It goes on to describe how territories are claimed. So they can only be claimed by companies, which are essentially New World's version of guilds. In order to claim an uncontrolled territory, the company simply pays a claim fee at the territory's fort. If the territory is already controlled by another company of a different faction, your company can attempt to take the territory through war with the owning company. Once a territory is claimed, either through the payment of the fee or war, the leader of the company, called a governor, becomes the governor of the territory. Players who own a home in a territory are called residents. One thing that's not clear to me is if a company can control multiple territories. Would that mean that the governor of the company would now govern multiple settlements, or does one of the consuls take up governor of the additional settlement? Also, let's think back for a second to the PvP update video on what we know about the war system. It's a scheduled 50 versus 50 player battle that both sides have to agree to before it happens. I'm not sure people are going to want to go to war and risk losing an entire town that they've spent potentially months building. I feel like there has to be some kind of mechanic that encourages or even forces people to go to war at some point. Otherwise, why would they risk it? Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this. So the role of the governor is to maintain control of the territory for the faction, as well as upgrading and maintaining quality of life for the settlement. This is done through town projects to upgrade the settlement. Town projects are large-scale activities that require all residents of a settlement to help complete. They are activated by the governor and completed by players in the town completing missions. Players would be more attracted to different territories based on the upgrades that the settlement has. Some of the possible upgrades available include crafting and refining station upgrades that enable the creation of higher quality items. Another potential upgrade is lifestyle buffs, which are long-term bonuses for crafting and combat that are only available to residents of that territory. So I really like on this part that you get to build something with your company. For me, guild systems in a lot of MMOs can sometimes feel just like a reliable group finder system. They don't always provide a meaningful reason to be a part of. So I really like that this gives players an incentive not only to be in and join a company, but also to contribute to maintaining and building the settlement. So it also mentions that the governor is responsible for paying territory upkeep dues to their faction. In order to fund these dues, the governor will impose taxes and fees to both the residents and the travelers of a territory. This part to me seems like a bit of a nuisance mechanic. I could just not be seeing what this adds to the game, but having to deal with taxes in a video game does not really sound appealing to me. Let me know in the comments if you find this interesting and why. In addition to governors, there's also consuls. Consuls act as the second in command to the governor, and they have almost all of the same permissions as the governor. It says that a company may have as few or as many consuls as it likes. So I really like that you can have lots of consuls. I'm personally not super enthused on the whole single governor making all decisions aspect of the game. To me, something maybe like a town council would have been more interesting if they really wanted to bring in that political aspect. It also would have given more opportunity for more players to be involved in the decision making for the settlements instead of just one person. Lastly, they talk about joining settlements. They say that anyone can use the services of a settlement, but in order to join it, you must purchase a house there. It then goes on to say that anyone can live in any house in any settlement, regardless of which faction they are in or which company controls the territory. It also states that when territory changes hands, the residents are mostly unaffected, aside to changes to taxation, upgrades, and lifestyle buffs that the new controlling company may make. This part to me is honestly a bit weird. I get the part about the services. It makes sense that people can pass through your town and you can earn money off of them by them visiting your crafting stations and upgrades that you've made. What I'm not understanding is the point of factions if you can all live together in the same settlement. And that's everything they've covered in this blog post. I honestly can't say that I'm overly excited about any of this information. I'm a bit intrigued to see how it all works and what players will do with these systems. Please share your thoughts in the comments, give a like if you found this video useful, and be sure to subscribe for more New World news and commentary.